just love crunchy vegetables. Every day I eat them. I eat a plate of crunchy vegetables. It's not always the same exact vegetables. Sometimes it's carrots, sometimes it's celery. Sometimes it's pickles. I actually don't like cucumbers very much by themselves. I like cucumbers with some dressing on them. That's my little dog. Let's see if he likes crunchy vegetables. He actually likes carrots. Now, some of you may be wondering, because I know in the past I've talked about how much I wanted to have a pet. He likes it. Would you like to crunch with me? Crunch the video with me? He actually is crunching it. He doesn't like celery. Celery has sort of a strong flavor, but he likes green beans. I have a dog now. I have 2 dogs. There was an unfortunate passing away of a friend of mine a few months ago. I've grown to accept that now in the loss. But he had 2 dogs. So those of you who asked on my other videos where you saw that I had dogs, I'm just letting you know that's why I have dogs now. Because I wasn't able to get dogs until this unfortunate event happened, and I wish it would not have happened. I wish I could have had dogs under other circumstances, but I really love dogs, so only one good thing came out of that very tragic, unfortunate happening to my friend. He will be happy to know that I'm taking care of his babies, or his best friends. So, but getting back to veggies. He likes them. You want to come crunch up here? I'm going to bring my dog up here to crunch the next string bean, because he apparently likes them. And that's good for his teeth. I don't know if it's good for his belly. I guess we'll find out. Come up here. Come on. You want to crunch with me? Don't waggle your tail. Come crunch with me. Come on. Oops. Come on. He's not young. He's about 8. Can you show the people how you crunch? Oh, he's a little camera shy here. You want to crunch? Oh, I guess he doesn't want to crunch with me holding him. Are you going to crunch here? Okay. But crunch next to me so they can hear you. Oh, he just plopped. Here you go. Let's have him crunch a whole string bean. Look. He enjoys crunching. Now that I know he likes crunchy vegetables, well, I knew he liked carrots. Let me know if you want me to do a dog crunching carrots and green beans video. All right. He likes apples actually too. I just remembered when I've been eating apples, I've given him pieces of apple, and he's eaten the apples too. But I'm still working on the string beans. So there we go. Finish that. We can crunch together. Here. One for you. Apparently he's gotten a little tired of them. He's not eating them anymore. Yeah. He had 2 or 3 and now he's spitting them out. So I guess he just wanted a little nibble. You may hear the thunder too. We have some thunder. It's not September yet, it's August. But August in Florida Summertime in Florida rains a lot. And humid, and it rains, and as we get closer to August, September, you get the hurricanes. If you're going to have hurricanes in Florida, usually it will be around August, September, October. It starts to clear up towards Christmas. And after Christmas, all the tourists come. But the sea gets very cold. The water gets very cold in the winter. But the tourists don't realize it. They think it's warm. The Norwegians come down here. I always laugh at the Norwegians. I shouldn't. But it makes me laugh because in Norway, in Scandinavia, you have the polar bear swimmers, they call them. They're like polar bear club, where it's midwinter in Norway and they'll jump in the water. Forget that one. So they come here, and this is our winter. To them feels like a tropical island or something. I think it's warm, so they go running into the ocean. They don't even test it with their toe or anything. And their pasty white selves. Anyway. In a minute, I can only have a little bit of wine at any given time because it makes me cuckoo. So I'm almost finished with the string beans. I'm actually getting a little tired of eating so many string beans. So I'm going to move on to the apple. I rinsed it well. These are Washington Granny Smith apples, grown in Washington. And I find that Washington apples taste better than apples from other parts of the country. I don't know why. There's a reason, in my opinion. Everyone has their taste, but I've noticed that I'll eat apples, but the crunchiest ones seem to come from the northwest of the United States. Maybe even some we, I think, have imported from Canada, but apparently something about that part of the world produces the kind of apples that I enjoy eating. They're really crunchy, and they taste almost like natural apples. They don't taste like they've been altered. You know, usually fruit that you get from commercial fruit trees are usually maybe they've been crossed genetically between two different types of fruit, of the two species of apple, for example, or they're not necessarily pure in origin as far as genetically pure, coming from just a seed. Like, for example, if you plant an apple seed, if you eat this apple or some of the larger, more beautiful shaped apples that don't necessarily taste better, you plant the seed and you'll get crab apples. And you say to yourself, well, why? The apple that I ate was so gorgeous, it was beautiful. Why, when I plant the seed, do I get a little crab apple that's hard and tart? Which I prefer hard and tart apples. They're usually smaller, the crab apples. And that's because they have, I can't quite remember what I studied, but they're ordinarily genetically, that's not to say they were genetically modified, but they were probably genetically crossed apples with two different species of apples, and they mix and mix until they come out with a certain type of apple. But as soon as you plant the seed, the natural, the first root of the apple, as far as the root genetics, come out. And then all the apples that come from those apples will be the same. Those will continuously produce the same kind of apples, but they will never produce the apple that you actually ate when they have been genetically crossbred. But I feel, but they taste better. They're not as pretty, they're not as big, but they're crunchier and taste better and juicier, it seems to me. And the apples that are from Washington State, I don't know if that's the case, but they are the kind of apples that I enjoy eating. So now that I've gone on for too long. He's looking at me. I think he wants some. And it tastes good with my wine, white wine. The white wine tastes better with the apple than the green beans did. The flavors go together better because the white wine is a little bit sweet, as is the apple. The green beans are sweet for a vegetable, but vegetables are not as sweet as fruits. I kind of like it before it rains. You have a sort of a smell in the air, like an ozone smell, but it's natural smell mixed with some grass, the humidity. It smells good out there. But when it rains, it all goes away. Just before rain, it's usually very hot. That's pretty bad. I don't think it's going to rain. That sound was from the... If you heard that sound, it was from the air conditioning. I should have gotten a napkin. Excuse me. It's very juicy, and green apples are also a little bit sour and tart. Granny Smith apples. I got a second one because these are small. However, I am getting a little bit full because I nibbled a little bit before I actually started the video. I was nibbling on some lunch that I'm making, which I'm probably not going to eat now. I made some brown rice. I encourage vegetarianism if you can do it. I'm not I'm not one of those vegetarian pushers, but I encourage it. I definitely feel lighter. I don't feel hungry. I eat a lot, I eat a lot of vegetables. I don't feel hungry. And I feel better. So it's worked for me. I'm not a vegan. Vegans don't eat any animal products, and they don't use leather, and they're very, very strict with... I know. See, he knows what I'm talking about. Or did you want a piece of my apple? Yeah, I think he's asking for some apples, so I'll give that to him. They're, very... And if I could become a vegan, I would. I would try. You have to be very careful if you're going to go to that extreme, because you make sure you get all your nutrients. That's the only thing. But there's, other than that, because if you're cutting out cheese and eggs and what else would you cut out? Cheese and eggs and basically dairy products in general, milk. You run the risk of not getting enough protein and not enough calcium, which is a very important nutrient to have. So, and iron also. So, you know, you just have to be... Now, I have not been watching vegan videos. I know there are ways to replace it with non-animal products so that you don't become malnourished, but you need to make sure that you do eat the right foods to compensate for not getting the calcium and proteins, certain proteins. And you can do as much as you can do. I mean, even if you don't become a 100% vegan, just the fact that you're consuming less meat in general, you know, let's say you eat meat every single day. Well, why don't you cut it down to twice a week instead of every single day? It's better for your health, and you're putting less demand on the market for creating, you know, for the market, you know, so there's less demand. You are essentially helping less cows be killed. They're still going to be killed because you're still eating it, but there will be less cows killed because the demand will be lowered because you're eating less meat. So, you know, it's not completely going to the extreme if it's difficult for you, but it's helping any way you can. So, I don't know what a vegan would think of that. I have read it's called a flexitarian, is what it's called, where you will eat meat, but it's not the primary part of your diet. Because in general, people eat much more meat than is necessary as far as getting the nutrients. You only, assuming you're going to use meat to fulfill your protein requirement, I have read that you don't need as much meat as we consume. We really overconsume it. You only need a little bit of meat every week, if assuming that's your reasoning for not cutting it out altogether. So, you know, definitely cutting down is helpful to your health as well as to the animals. From what I've read. And I actually agree with that. So, I believe vegans also do not eat fish or seafood, and I do eat fish and seafood. I actually, since I stopped eating meat and chicken, you know, meat and poultry, and since I've stopped eating land animal meat, if you will, I have increased my fish consumption, which I used to never eat fish, you know, or I might have it once in a while, and now I have fish. I don't even have it every week, but I do eat more fish than I used to compensate. I still eat eggs, but I'm sort of cutting down on eggs. I'm thinking I'm going to cut out eggs altogether too. Just a matter of taste. I'm not crazy about the taste of eggs. I usually will eat a hard-boiled egg when I eat eggs. I don't really like them that much. Sometimes when I realize I'm not getting protein, I maybe have eaten a few days and I hadn't eaten anything with protein, I'll hard-boil an egg. And they do have free-range eggs, which are less cruel to the hens. They're not big factory eggs, but those are more expensive. But however, since I don't eat them that often, I can get those free-range eggs where the chickens are happy. You know, they lay eggs, but they are free in a barnyard or something, and the eggs are more costly because it's not in a factory production. setting, so somebody actually has to physically go out and pick up the eggs, by hand, like they do on a small farm. So that, of course, is going to be more costly. You've got to pay labor, the labor cost of the person picking up the eggs. Sometimes chickens will lay them in little holes and little, you got to find them. It's like an egg hunt, the Easter egg hunt, but every day. You want a piece? I'm going to bite off and give him a piece. Here you go. So post down below, tell me what you think about my views on vegans and vegetarianism, and if you agree, if you disagree, correct me. If you are a vegan and something I've said was incorrect, please let me know politely. I'm learning, And let me know what you think about honey. Is honey cruel? I think it's not. Bees, from what I've seen in honey production places, the bees live a pretty natural lifestyle. They're just, instead of having honey production in a tree, they have honey production in boxes, but it's still the bees doing what nature has taught them to do or programmed them to do. I actually did take some beekeeping courses, which were very interesting. So let me know if you think that, using bees is mean. I don't think it is. I think that my opinion is the bees are living the life they would have lived anyway. A life of a slave, granted, but we're not enslaving them. It's the queen bee enslaving them. They work until they die of exhaustion. But they were going to do that even if the honey was in a tree. So, and it's cheaper for us to have them produce honey in boxes, because that way we don't have to hire someone to climb up the tree. Okay. Cheers. Thanks for watching.